Alrighty, welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for everybody who has liked and subscribed these past videos and given great feedback. Even those of you with negative feedback, I still appreciate it. So we're breaking down the Stephon Marbury Spotlight Reward card. See if he's worth the grind. Keeping in mind you need the card if you're going for Brandon Roy anyway, but is he worth using? Is he a good card? Does he belong with the top of the heap of point guards, which got some extra company with Magic Johnson coming out, but Magic doesn't have range extender, so if your game plan revolves around range extender, you still need to use the shorter point guards. Okay, so that having been said, I wanted to pull up Pink Diamond Derrick Rose because him and Gilbert are the class of the shorter point guards right now, so I wanted to get right into it and compare these guys directly from a statistical standpoint, see how Steph measures up. So we got catch and shoot, volume, blah blah. Let's just go to their ratings actually, because they both have the insane badges. So Steph is a better three-point shooter, not as good of a mid-range shooter, but his mid-range is still a 90, so it's basically elite across the board. Especially once you bring a coach in there, it's going to basically go to nearly 99 once you incorporate badges and everything else. Steph has a slightly lower driving dunk. Again, it's a 90 here, but with the coaching boost, it's probably a 94. So there's that. He doesn't have a standing dunk, which is a big difference from D Rose. There are certain animations you'll pull out of that Derrick Rose that you won't get out of Steph. Ball handle, same thing, one short over 95. That coaching boost, both of these characters have a 99 ball handle. The pass accuracy is relatively the same. So all of these stats in the high 90s are very comparable. Steph is a better perimeter defender, although Derrick Rose is obviously very good. Derrick Rose is a far superior rebounder. That's worth noting. Derrick Rose, again, very slightly faster in all these statistics. I'm running Mike D'Antoni right now, so I get a +4 in speed and everything, so he's a 99 speed anyway. So yeah, these cards are very, very, very close. Derrick Rose seems to be slightly more athletic and have possibly some animations, whereas Steph is a better defender. So let's look at but again, so close, don't take those, terms to heart, really. So Steph, he's got a whole. Let's look at the key badges here. So this ankle breaker, guys. Keep in mind this ankle breaker badge. This is a big badge right here because it's been buffed. From all indications, I've seen some stun animations myself. So this is a badge we need to start paying attention to now because this is a badge that will cause some stuns on players. I believe the half spin causes it. I'm not sure what else causes it, but I got a really nasty stun on a half spin. So keep that in mind. Tight handles is the opposite because the explosive behind the back has been taken out of the game. That's the one that triggered tight handles. That's not as important. Where did Derrick Rose? He did not have Hall of Fame ankle breaker. So that's a nod towards Steph. They both have all of the elite dunking badges. He's got Intimidator, which is huge. Huge to have that Intimidator badge. That badge is so good. Gold clamps, gold dimer, and I would expect Gold Floor General, Space Creator still a good badge. So yeah, and obviously Range Extender, Hot Zone Hunter, Hot Start, Quick Draw. All right, so I mean he has basically every good badge you could possibly hope for. So let's take him into the freestyle now that we have looked at what he's bringing to the table, which is plenty. So with these point guards, the reason I like to do these breakdowns this way is sometimes point guards don't have one dribble that's good, but they might have another dribble that's really good, and it just shows you what style you need to use to make that point guard effective. And I think a lot of people approach the cards all in the same way, and it skews their perception of the cards. So you see Steph is 6'3". I don't know if he has a big character model or just a big head, but he looks a little on the larger side. He doesn't look like a super tiny character. His arm length looks about average, all right? And the hot zone is obviously really great. So the first thing we want to look at is this shot because he had a really good shot on his Amethyst card. His Amethyst card is actually really, really great. His Evo card, but it was in the pre-Quick Draw days. Let's see. It's really close to the same, to be honest with you. He had one of the releases that didn't need Quick Draw as much as everybody else. It's just a really smooth, easy release. It wasn't like super slow, like unusable. So let's try and find this screen window. There it is. So yeah, really good feeling jumper. about medium speed, not slow enough to be alarming, but not fast enough that it's a feature. So his is right in the middle. I'd compare the speed to like Kawhi, which is that perfectly adequate speed that if you're playing the card properly, he should be good. So one thing to note with this card, with the jumper, we're kind of getting into deep dive territory already. When he shoots, he pulls it up a little slow. Now I've been railing on cards that have that, like Doug Christie and stuff like that, where they wind up is slow. But the thing about Steph is he's not super slow, but that is the slowest part of his shot release. So if you're on the catch and shoot, when the ball hits his hands, he actually has one of the fastest releases in the game. Right, so you guys see the difference here? So I'm going to do it off the dribble, pull up. You see there's a little bit of a wind up, right? And I'm going to do it off the catch, let it go to my hip. Little bit of a wind up, faster than off the dribble. Now look off the catch and shoot. It's just right there. It goes right from his pocket. As soon as the ball hits his hands, it goes right into his shooting motion. So these cards are nuanced. These animations are nuanced. That's why we do these deep dives, because this is stuff you're going to want to know before you take these cards into action and use them the wrong way. So one thing I'm going to be looking for right away, before I get to the rest of the dribble, since this is still shot related, I want to see if he can hezzy into that shot and cancel the lifting motion to make it even faster. Yes, he can. So you go in, hezzy. I didn't interrupt it that time. I didn't interrupt it fast enough. Oh, that's quick. Okay, so with the turbo button held, if you do the hezzy into his jumper, he cancels those early frames a little bit faster. You can see him kind of zipping into this pull-up motion. I apologize for the misses. I'm just looking at these early animations. I'm not really focusing on his release. Yeah, I would say his jumper is very good. Just shy of the top jumpers in the game, but definitely a good jumper. Shouldn't take you too long to master. It's got a pretty reliable, easy to see green window. It's right about almost as soon as he puts the ball up to his head. The one thing that's tricky about his shot is he's going to have slightly different release timings depending on the situation. You know, he's got kind of a medium, fast, and fastest release timing depending on whether he's catching it, you know, how he's catching it, how he's pulling it up, you know, what hand the ball is in. These things are all actually affecting his shot. Like they're also, when the ball's in his right hand, it's like slightly faster. So this is something you guys should know, because if you're having trouble shooting with him, you might be going off of timing, but he's a card that his release is going to be absolutely money if you're looking at the card and, you know, shooting with a, you know, a cognizance of what situation he's in. But if you're just pressing the button and looking at the meter, you're going to always be a little off with him. Because he doesn't have the exact same shot timing until he's releasing the ball. You know, the release window is the same, but the way he pulls the ball up is slightly different. So that was a slower catch and shoot. This is going to be a faster catch and shoot. I can tell by how he's catching it. So that one I let him bring it down, so it was slower. So the one tip I would say with his shooting, and this is something that carries over from Park, you have to look at your character as he catches it and watch the animation. Don't go on autopilot when you're playing with Steph. And if you do that, he's a fantastic shooter. This is a really, really good release. A full white there. Testing this range extender now. Some characters shoot a little slower in these deeper ranges, or at least it feels a little slower in these deeper ranges. So I want to see his range extender green window. He can make these range extender shots, but he doesn't feel like a Terry or a Lowry. You know, he's good, but not crazy good. Definitely, it can still be your primary game plan to like dribble behind screens, hezzy, and pull up with this character. That's something you can definitely do. You can, you know, do all this stuff and pull up very quickly with that and play the card that way. He is viable to play like that. All right, so let's start getting into his dribbles. Oh, actually, let's look at his leaner first. Nice leaner. He's got a shooting guard style leaner. It's really, really good. Let's see what the green window's looking like. Try and get in that green window before we move on from this shot. It's a little late. Okay. Slightly early. So he'll give you a different animation depending on how fast he's going. Some players are a little less strict about that, where you'll get the same animation kind of no matter what speed. But if he gets into a full run, he'll give you that full leaner. And if he's going a little slower, he'll give you the more straight up and down one. Maybe. So you have to be careful with that. I wouldn't say his leaners are going to go in, but I wouldn't say that it's a primary game plan, because you guys have seen me do this with other cards. When they have the big green window, you can kind of tell. This guy has kind of a tight green window on his leaners, but he is making a lot of full whites. So in a pinch, I would expect that to be viable. And since we're with this game plan, let's look at his floater. Ooh, really nice floater. He's got an old school New York City floater. That's a New York City playground floater right there. And he's got a nice running jumper too for the fast break as well. For if you miss the floater, he still goes into a nice shot. I have no idea why he just did that. I mean, it's a cute animation, but yeah, that's a nice high floater. And they've all gone in, and I haven't greened them yet, so I would imagine the green window is not too hard to find. I know I'm familiar with this kind of floater from the park, and it's a good one. It's right when he's about to bring the ball up. Oh, that's early. He has a lot of different floaters though. That's the only thing. So you have to familiarize yourself with it. But he's pretty generous. He doesn't ask you to green it, so that's nice. Like all of these non-greens are going in, so that's a good look. All right. I wanted a green one for you guys, but we can't be all day shooting floaters. All right, so let's start looking at his full court dribbles. Bad between the legs. Decent behind the back. Not great. Good crossover. He has that little hesitation crossover. That's okay though. Oh, very nice hesitation. Very nice hesitation. You actually have time to choose there, and his behind the back is completely horizontal off of that. And you really have time to choose when to input that. Like you can literally do this, see what your opponent does, and then make your move. And his between, I actually don't cover that a lot, but the between the legs out of that move is also very good. You know, so some characters are going to have a better between the legs. You see how far he moves, and that's when the floater is going to come into play. That's going to be, the leaner is going to come into a play. So that's really nice. Let's see the explosion. Yeah, really good explosion. He does a little bit. There's a true hesitation for him, but I kind of like that on the point guards because he can still take the three-point shot. He's not being speed boosted so fast forward that you have to snatch back to get the three. You see here, like he sets himself up for the three-pointer with his hezi. So you have like a triple mix-up because you're either going to the basket, you're crossing over. You can change the angle of your crossover with the between the legs. He's got some options out of his hesitation. So I would say that's a money move for him. You know, you can really relocate yourself with this card. So he's got some complexity in his full court running. Nice snatchback right into his shooting pocket. That's beautiful. Really nice snatchback into his shooting pocket. The only thing I say about this card to be wary of is his cancel is with the turbo hesitation. Holding right trigger, that's where the cancel is. The cancel does not come from his regular hesitation, the hop one. The hop one is more of a dribble thing. And he's really slow out of it. I would actually, okay, but he has the quick change of direction. So that's the thing. So that's the trade-off. You see that? He's got the really glitchy quick change of direction. That's ridiculous. That's truly ridiculous. So this card already has a lot of stuff going on. Let's check the in and out. Very nice in and out. He has the in and out where it looks like he's changing directions. So let's see the directed in and out. And he directs it really well. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing his in and out, but I'm changing my left stick. So this is neutral left stick, holding the same direction. He gives you a good fake, and then he goes the same direction. This is left stick opposite way. Right into the crossover. That's a left stick crossover, not a right stick crossover. So he can in and out crossover, but with the left stick. See that? Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous move. That's really good. I can't stress how good that is. And then crossover. That's nice. And then he can in and out and go the ball hand direction. In fact, this is a PSA to the 2K community. Start saying ball hand and off ball hand when you're describing controllers, so it's universal. Little fighting game tip for you. So yeah, a really, really, really strong full court game. So we're gonna start getting into the half court game. So let's see his behind the back first. Okay, good behind the back. As you, that's actually S tier, guys. His double behind the back is S tier. That's super strong. He does it even without like a perfect cancel window. You see that? That's a good fake. That is really nice. His shooter behind the back is okay. It's a little on the slower side. Not the worst thing in the world. If you are, going into one direction, and then you stop like that, and you cancel that tight little window there, the slowdown window, then you'll be good to go with that behind the back. So, yeah, both behind the backs are good, but his momentum behind the back is like really strong, really, really strong. Let's look at his momentum crossover. Very nice momentum crossover. Big change of direction. Look at his double cross. Ooh, do you see his head movement on that? Like his head completely moves in the direction he's going. So when you do the double crossover, it actually visually looks like he's changing direction. So there's the momentum behind the back. Let's look at that again. Really nice momentum behind the back. This card has a bounce to him when he's doing these dribbles. It's funny because he has that big old Marbury head. It actually like moves around, and it is more of a visual cue in terms of what he's doing. So that's awesome. Let's look at his half spin. Good half spin. Reminds me a little bit of Carmelo. Let's see if he can in and out off of it. No, just like Carmelo, he can't in and out off of it because his half spin leads him into his hezzy. So just be aware of that. You can't do the half spin in and out, which actually you can. You just have to wait for him to face forward. So his is a little better than Melo's. You have to wait for him to face. Maybe you have to do it right away. Let me see. Yeah. So the trick here to do that combo with him, if you let him execute the half spin all the way, he's going to move horizontally, which will lead you into the hezzy, right? So at this point, you see how he runs a little bit? I'll show you guys again. So this is the half spin. I'm going to let it play out. He runs a little bit. That run, if you look at the ball hand, that's why it's going into his hezzy. Look at this. See that? That's why he does the hezzy out of that. But if you cancel it and do it early, he does the in and out. And do you see how he's moving to the side? He's like a park character, right? So he's got the park style stuff. Speaking of park style stuff, let's see if he has the teleport. He does. He has the teleport. So, I mean, really, really elite dribbles. The only dribble I would say I don't like is his normal hesitation. This one right here. It's okay as a shooter. And it actually, I shouldn't say don't like it. It's particular, right? You can't cancel it. So if you want to cancel into the jumper, you have to be holding right trigger, right? So this is right trigger. And you see the glitchy cancel right there into the jumper. You have to be holding right trigger. If you just press left stick, what you're going to do is you're going to be going the other way into that really, really glitchy side switch, which is gorgeous. That is fantastic. In fact, let's look at that out of the same direction. Oh man, really good same direction. So I'm going to have to take back what I said a little bit. So his regular hezzy is for the side switch. That's regular hesitation. That's right on the right stick. No turbo held, right? And then if I do that same regular hezzy and I cancel these intro animations, I can keep going. If I want to shoot, then actually you can do it, but you have to cancel really early in these frames. Like if you want to shoot off of it, you can't let them start to hop because there's a window where you can no longer cancel off the hop. But if you catch it when the ball is going up, right in that area where he like starts to look glitchy, you can cancel into the jumper. So I'm going to actually change what I was saying in that it's elite. His regular right stick hesitation is elite, but you have to pay attention to it. Similar to his shot, actually. That's a regular right stick hesitation that's not holding turbo. So with that, I can change directions really quickly. With that, I can go the same way off the hezzy, like the park hezzy. That's me canceling it, canceling the animation frames into the same direction. And you can also cancel those animation frames into the shot. And you can cancel the animation frames, keep going, and then cancel into the shot. So he has a nasty, nasty set of mix-ups off of the hesitation. His hesitation is S tier. Both of them are S tier. So let's look at the step back, because I saw some ugliness. Yeah, he's another one with the bad step back. He's got like the Clyde step back. Let's see a step back out of a combo. Maybe it's better. It's a nah. Step back's bad. Don't use it. I would stay away from his step back. Maybe just do it off of combos. But in general, I don't like his step back. Yeah, in general, I don't like his step back. Testing some half spin stuff. Yeah, I want to just test that teleport out of the half spin. Alright, so let's start looking at his dribble animations. I mean, his dunking animations. Very nice. So just as a heads up, if you guys didn't play his Amethyst card was a really good dunker. He just seemed to take off from everywhere and felt like a really legit slasher. So right now what I'm seeing from his dunk animations is they're a little on the slow side, but I will tell you, yeah, see, that's one of the good ones. He takes off from really far away. He's a really good in-game dunker. I don't know how. Yeah, so his he's got a bit of a gather on his fancy dunk. I'll try a couple more fancy dunks, see if we can trigger some different animations. That's a nice one. Look at the elevation on that. So what I would say about his dunk packages is definitely try them from different spots on the court, because he has a very wide dunk package. So he's going to have some good dunks and some bad dunks. Now, overall, he has a very high tier dunk package. I wouldn't say it's like Westbrook elite, but it's, you know, like the next best thing. Like the next best thing down from Westbrook. But you have to learn the dunk package so that you know which ones to avoid. So, for instance, it seems like the fancy dunk straight forward is a no-go, but the fancy dunk from the angle is pretty good, right? He takes off from far away. He gets into the air very quickly. His left-hand dunks are okay. They're a little slow, a little floaty, definitely blockable. Right-hand dunks are a little better, a little more explosive. Let's try forward on the stick. So his forward on the stick has a gather, but it has a safe gather. So that's pretty good. And he has a little bit of a back scratcher, but it's not too bad. And he does take off from very, very far away. He gets a speed boost on fast breaks, which is a big bonus. So his dunk package is definitely a mixed bag. I wouldn't call it a negative, more so as I would say it's a, you know, be aware. You just have to learn the character. He's not like Westbrook and possibly D Rose, where every single dunk is a good dunk. There's a few cards in the game like that where every dunk is great. He's a card where you got to know which ones to do at what time. Otherwise, you might find yourself being open and getting blocked. All right, let's look at his layup animations. So he's got that forward kind of Steph Curry layup. This is forward, and that's a beautiful layup. That's a beautiful layup. What I look for in layups is, do they have a layup where they actually keep moving forward, don't slow down, don't gather it, don't play with the ball? Can I trigger that very easily? And you see there, he has all of those like golden layup animations. The best layup animations in the game I've seen are Brandon Ingram. His layup animations are like, why can't everybody be like this? But Steph has the really good ones. The ball's way out in front of him, so if you got somebody on your hip, he's gonna give a little speed boost. Yeah. So what I would suggest with this card is, when you want to layup, walk a little bit. Don't hold turbo all the way, because he's a dunking card. So the card wants you to tell it if he's doing layups. But when you tell it that he's doing layups, he gets rid of the ball really quickly. He puts it out in front of him. And you know, he's very efficient with it. So let's look at his Euro steps real quick. So he has the behind the back Euro step. I wouldn't mess with that one too much. Let's see his cradle. That wasn't the cradle. Let's try that again. Oof. Okay, so that's one. You definitely don't want to get that by accident. This is a layup I throw in. That's a good cradle. That's something I throw in when people are like holding turbo trying to chase down, and you do that to throw their pace off. I actually like having one of those in. What I don't like is when they come out on their own. So you never know if some of those are going to come out on their own, because sometimes the contested layup is what causes that. But generally with Marbury, and I played a lot with Marbury on my other account, you can avoid all of those by holding forward on the stick, upper left or upper right. So 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 1 o'clock. And you should get a really nice layup animation every time. And if you want to change your timing, go to a cradle or a Euro step if you're trying to avoid a defender. But since it's Steph, you can also just try and dunk on him, you know. So is there anything else? We see the hot spots. They're fairly glorious. He's only missing one of the key hot spots. He has a hot spot everywhere else. That's fantastic. Excellent release. Yeah, I don't see any reason why this card wouldn't be absolutely elite. This is as good as they come. Excellent dunker. Excellent layups. Playmaking badges, check. Finishing badges, check. He's got S-tier dribbles. This is some of the best dribbles in the game. Like, I mean, at least to me, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of this channel, is you guys can decide for yourself if you like the dribbles that I'm showing you. I'll just show them to you. You know what I mean? But for me, these are great dribbles. The fact that he can zigzag back and forth behind screens like that is really cheap. You know, the fact that he has his options on all of these hezzies, the fact that he just has so many options. You know, even on the half spin in and out, like he's got the half spin in and out. He can also half spin into the roll, into the teleport. You know what I mean? So like he's just got a lot. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Look at that roll. He's got the Steezo roll. Wow. Wow. I wish I was better at the Steezo roll so I could really show you guys. I just did it the one time. I got to practice that just so I can show you guys. That's a beautiful dunk animation. He's got the Steezo roll. He's got the Steezo roll. He's got the behind the back teleport. He's got the patented books in and out. Half spin into the in and out. Which again, when I show you guys this is stuff I've used against human beings in the park. I don't show you theoretical, maybe it might be good ball handles. This is stuff that I've used in the park and in TTO and in Triple Threat Online. So, you know, that's a nice situation to tell if certain ball handles are working. So he's just got it all, man. This card is I don't know what else you could ask for from this card, except to be taller. Aside from not being taller, I heard he has a low stamina rating. Let's take a look at that real quick. Yeah, stamina is an 88, so you're definitely going to need a backup guard with him, for sure. Probably 2. That's fine. So many people play the 2 at this point. The 1 and the 2, it's fine. But look, you see the speed ratings. This is what I was talking about. They're 99 once you put a coach on them. So it's basically he's basically Derrick Rose. He's Derrick Rose. It just depends on whose animations you like better, and it really just comes down to that. Derrick Rose is a bit better of a rebounder, but Steph is he's a bit better of a three-point shooter. He has a wonderful shot. I know that Rose has a nice shot too, though. So, yeah, he's basically Derrick Rose. If you didn't get Derrick Rose, if you didn't have the MT for that, just pick up Steph and you should be good to go. And that Jeremy Lin is super great too. So if you're running, you know, so you do this set, you definitely have Steph and Jeremy Lin. I would definitely evo that Jeremy Lin for sure. And you've got 2 elite point guards that you can't even sell, so they'll always be on your team. So the answer to the question, is this spotlight worth it? I would say absolutely. This card is better. This point guard is better than almost every point guard in the game. I would say, you know, Gilbert, Arenas. I wouldn't say Tony Parker. From what I've seen of Tony Parker, I don't know if I would put Tony Parker ahead, especially, I'm not trying to play a card shorter than 6'3", you know? That's just me. Yeah, 6'3" is like the cutoff. So, but, you know, I'll throw Tony in that group. But Tony, Derrick Rose, Steph, Pink Diamond, Jeremy Lin, that's that group. Gilbert Arenas. And then after that, you're looking at taller point guards. But those guys, there's nobody else in the game that I would put ahead of those cards. I don't really rank those cards because it's just about what you like better between the cards. Again, these cards have a lot of dimensions to them, so there's no like this is just better than that. It's really about the animations that you get into. The one thing I would say that might separate them is if any of those other cards has a better step back. That would be a factor. Let me look at Jeremy Lin's step back real quick while we're here. So yeah, big thumbs up for me for this card. I don't know how people don't like it. Look, if you're not going to play short point guards, then you're just not going to play short point guards. But in the 250K tournament, they played plenty of short point guards. Yeah, Lin has a bad step back too. Man, they need to hook these cards up with a step back. Make me want to get my Kyle Lowry back. Yeah, so in fact, I don't even want to call them the short point guards. I want to call them the range extender point guards, because that's really what it's about. The tall point guards don't have range extender yet, with the exception of Penny, who has a lot of deficiencies of his own. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this information has helped you out, whether or not you want to spend your time doing those spotlights, spending that MT on, Melo and Kawhi to get through it. But I do think there are some really nice cards in that collection that you're going to want to hold on to. I think the Landry Fields is great. I think the Marc Gasol is really, really good. That's a card that's probably going to be pretty good for a little while. Who else? The rest of the cards are decent. Kawhi is obviously excellent. Melo, I'm not a huge fan of Melo because the shot release is very difficult to get. And this Jeremy Lin is excellent. So, say about 4 or 5 cards, that you want anyway. So I don't think it's too much of a sacrifice to do it. And obviously, if you want Brandon Roy, you got to do it anyway. Okay. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you. Peace.